Okay, 5 and 6 are asking, are the polygons similar? Find the value of each variable. So let's look at a couple examples here. Right, so we have two triangles here. They're telling us that these triangles are similar. So if they're similar, we know their sides are proportional. So we can set up the ratios of the corresponding sides. So they tell us this angle is the same. So we, looking at our diagram here, we can tell that 10 is going to line up with 5. So we can do 10 over 5. Okay, 6 is going to line up with y, so we can do 6 over y. And then 8 is going to line up with x, so we can do 8 over x. Okay, you could have done these in reverse, 5 over 10, y over x, and x over 8. That would have been fine. But if you pick the numerator from one triangle, you got to pick the other numerators from that same triangle. We can't do 10 over 5 and then y over 6, right? We have to do 10 over 5, and if we pick 10 from the first triangle, we have to start with the number from the first triangle again. So 10 over 5, 6 over y, 8 over x. Okay, you pick two ratios. So I'm going to pick the first two here, 10 fifths and 6y. So that's 10 over 5 equals 6 over y. We cross multiply here. So that's going to be 10 over 10y, and then 6 times 5. So that's going to be 10y equals 30. We divide both sides by 10. And we end up with y equals 3. Okay. Now we got to solve for x. So I'm going to use the first one and the last term here. So 10 over 5. Right? Since all three of these are equal, they don't need to be right next to each other. We know they're all equal. So 10 over 5 is going to equal 8 over x. Okay, we cross multiply. That's going to be 10x equals 5 times 8. Right, cross multiply, so 10 times x. And then here cross multiply, that's going to be 5 times 8. So we have 10x equals 40. Right, we divide both sides by 10. That's going to give us x equals 4. Okay, if we want to check our answer, we can plug them back in. Right, so 10 divided by 5 here. Okay, 10 divided by 5 is going to give us 2. Okay, the next one would be 6 over y is 3. So 6 over 3. That's going to give us 2. And then our last one here, 8 over x, that's going to be 8 over 4. Is also going to give us 2. So we know all those ratios are equal. They all equal 2. So this first triangle is twice as big as the second one. Okay, and x is 3. X is 4 and y is 3 is going to be our final answers here. Okay. Let's try the next one. Okay, so 8, right? They give us this arc here to tell us which angle is going to be congruent, right? And they tell us the polygons are similar. So these quadrilaterals, right? They have 4 sides, so they're quadrilaterals. So they're going to be equal. Okay, so 8 is going to match up with 6, so we'll do 8 over 6. Okay, x is going to match up with 12, so we're going to do x over 12. This 6 is going to match up with y, so we'll do 6 over y. Okay, and then the 10 here is going to match up with the z, so we're going to do 10 over z. Okay, we need to pick 2, so we want to solve for x, so I'm going to pick the first 2 here to solve for x. We cross multiply, so that's going to be 6x. And then you have 8 times 12. Okay, so that's 6x. 8 times 12 is going to be 96. Okay, we divide by 6. All right, so x is going to be 16. Okay. All right, the next one, let's pick a different color here. So let's do the 8 over 6 and then the 6 over y. Right, so those are equal, so we can do 8 over 6 equals 6 over y. If we cross multiply, we're going to end up with 8y equals 6 times 6 is going to be 36. Right? Okay, we divide by 8 here. All right, y is going to be, it's going to be an interesting one, so it's going to be what is that? 18 over 4, which is 9 over 2. So it's going to be 9 halves here. Z, then we can do Z. So let's use 8 over 6 and then 10 over Z. So 8 over 6 equals 10 over Z. We cross multiply, that's going to be 8Z equals 60. We divide by 8 on both sides. So Z is going to be, let's see here, it's 30 over 4, 15 over 2. So that's going to be Z. If we want to check our answers now, we can put the ratios in and make sure that all those ratios are equal. So we have 8 over 6, if I have room somewhere. Right, 8 over 6 is going to be 4/3. Okay, the next one, x over 12, so x was 16, so that's 16 over 12. That's good, that's going to be 4 over 3. Okay, the next one, 6 over y, so y was 9 over 2, so it's going to be 6 over 9 halves. Right, so we would multiply both sides by 2. That'd be 12 over 9, which is going to be 4/3, so that one's good. And then the last one is 10 over 15 over 2. Right, so you multiply numerator and denominator by 2, you get 20 over 15, which is going to be 4/3. So we can see the ratio of all of our corresponding sides are equal. We know our values are correct. So x is 16, y is 9 halves, and z is 15 over 2. All right, so that should be good to solve for 5. That's the same way. That's how you're going to solve 5 and 6 here. Okay, and then 7, they want you to enlarge a photo. So we have a 3 by 5 inch photo, and we want to print it on 8.5 inch paper. So we need to figure out what the scale factor is and see how large our photo is. So we can have you guys try that one. And then 8 is asking you to read a map, or Ella is reading a map with a scale of 1 inch is equal to 20 miles in real life. So on the map, if she drives 4.25 inches, we want to know how many miles this would be in real life. So this is simple, like a unit conversion, right? Scale. So we want you guys to try that problem as well. Okay. And then 9 through 14, again, that's kind of like a combination of the last two videos. So you need to find the scale factor. So we need to figure out how much larger one is the other. You need to check the ratios, you need to check the angles and see which ones line up, right? So just a pointer here. All right, N lines up with W, O corresponds with X, and then P corresponds with Y. So angle X should be equal to angle O. It should be congruent to angle O, so their measures should be equal. So if O is 58, X should be 58. Okay, if N is 49, W should be 49. 3 angles of a triangle add up to 180, so we can do 180 minus 49 minus 58. Okay, you put that in your calculator, that's going to give you your final angle here. Okay, for the sides, you're not solving, you would be solving for the other sides. So you got to figure out what your scale factor is. So the only one where you have matching sides would be O and P, OP and X, Y. Right, so it might help to put maybe an X here and a Y here. Right, and then you can line up your sides, right? So OP is going to correspond with XY. ON, right, is going to correspond with XW. And then NP is going to correspond with WY. Right, and then you can plug in all of those values, right? So OP is 4 over 10. ON is going to be 6 over X. And then NP over WY is going to be Y over 12. Okay? Then you got to figure out your ratios, cross multiply, solve for X, solve for Y, and fill in all these questions here. Okay, I will be online from 8:15 to 11:15, so please join if you have any questions, and let's get these 4 18 questions done.